Hey YouTube, Pheano here. Time for Perfecting Blackwings 29. Since the Six Samurai deck recently won the YCS, I think it's time to go back and talk about Six Samurais again. I was hoping I wouldn't have to do part 2 of this because the ban list would have killed the deck, but it's still alive and kicking. So yeah, I'm going to be talking about the Six Samurai matchup. This is the part 2 of it. If you haven't seen part 1, I will post a link in the description or an annotation. That's talking about like the game one. This is going to be talking about like game two, side decking and stuff like that. So yeah, Six Samurais. Again, first thing you want to deal with is their summons. Make sure you keep their monsters off the board with Solemn Warning and negation cards like that at all costs so they don't get their Bushido counters. And if they don't have the gateway up or anything like that, and you see they're going to go for the Shien, you can feel free to not negate the Kageki and negate the Shien with the Solemn Warning, since it can't negate Solemn Warning with its effect, since it's a speed spell 3. That'll give you a +1 right there. But yeah, keep their monsters off the board at all cost. And beyond that, just try to prevent them from getting pluses off their Bushido counter making cards like Gateway and United. So if you have like an MST or something, hit those when you can. It'll slow them down quite a bit and kill their consistency. So those are some basic strategies against them. I've covered them already, but I just want to recap that real quick. So yeah, now I'm going to go into some side deck stuff. First up is Kinetic Soldier. Pretty good against them. Like Spirit Reaper, it's a big wall against them. If they don't have the hand or the red-blue combo, which really doesn't work anymore since Gateway's at 1, they have to have like a Gateway and 2 Uniteds for that to work, and that doesn't happen very often. So if they don't have the hand, basically, this will just sit there and they have to have some removal for it, like the hand or a Baronic. So it'll sit there and sometimes they might gateway pump to get over this, but it'll sit there for a while and stall, which is kind of nice, and you can run over their monsters if you feel secure in your position, like you don't think they have a dimensional prison or something. And it's nice because it gets under bottomless too. Pretty good against them. I personally don't use it because I prefer prevention over like counter stuff. Because this is something after they've already established their board. So this is good if you're going second, I guess, but I usually like to use prevention. Like this card. Thunder King Ryo. Pretty good against them. Negate their summons and stop their searches. So this will stop their gateway, their Rhoda, and their smoke signals, which that'll really hurt them since they only play about 14 monsters. So without their searches, they will usually sit on like a one monster hand that they can't do too much with, generally. And, you know, if they end up being able to go off anyways without their searches, you'll just negate their Shien with this. So, you know, good stuff. Really good card against them. And this is great because it's good against other matchups too. You can use this against Gravekeepers since they do a lot of searching with their Recruiter, their Commandant, their Pot of Duality. Yes, this also stops Pot of Duality in case you didn't know. Um, and it also stops X-Sabers, no more Dark Soul Search, no more Pot of Duality because they're playing Pot of Duality over Gold Sarcophagus now. So it's an all-around pretty good card. Next up, Chain Disappearance. You can hit their Kageki and the level 2 tuner, Kagebusha, I think? I'm probably saying the wrong one. That's probably their counter trap. I space on the names usually. But yeah, you can stop their weenie guys with this. Basically, if you hit Kageki with this, they kind of scoop because, you know, they can't make their big plays anymore. And it just makes what they have left very awkward. And it's really hard for them to win after that. Because, you know, most of their big plays are based off the Kageki, and now you've just gotten rid of all of them. So, you know, good stuff. And you get to see their hand off this too, which, you know, the information that you get off their hand can be very game-breaking. I won a game at the previous regionals just off the information I got from this. Like, I don't remember what I hit. It was unimportant what I hit. I just saw his hand, and I was just like, well, I know how to play around what you have now. And you can, again, use this against other decks. You can use this against debris plants, like hitting their Dandelion or something like that. And there's a number, X-Sabers you can use this against. Frog-based decks you can use this against. Anything that really plays a lot of weenies you can use this against. Very good card, and it usually if you hit a weenie and get rid of all of them, it breaks combos. They just don't have the pieces anymore. And lastly, Dust Tornado. Right now, I feel like this is a card that should be in the main board, kinda, because, well, this is a good card. Like 7 Tools, you can use this against back row cards. Difference being that you can't chain this to their back row cards usually like you can with 7 Tools, which is nice. You can, instead of picking one at random, you can wait and see which one is the one you want to stop, and then, stop that card. But this is good for the fact that I can hit more cards. You can hit back row cards, or you can hit cards like Six Samurai United, Gateway of the Six, Necro Valley, and Dragon's Ravine. Which, all 3 of those are pretty big decks right now, so that extra utility that this has is pretty important. So I really think this should be in the main board, but if it isn't in your main board, you don't have room, make sure this is in your side. Really, really good right now. Hitting that Necro Valley, that Dragon's Ravine, that United, it's just game-breaking. Now their big plays are all messed up. In the case of Gravekeepers, now they can't roll tribute you. Their monsters don't have that extra attack they need to get over you, because, your Blackwings are usually big enough to get over them without the boost. As against Six Samurais, they can no longer plus, because pretty much all of their +1s are based off of their Uniteds and their Gateway. And then in the case of Dragoonity, their consistency is largely based off the Dragon's Ravine. So if you get rid of that, it's pretty much like the same thing as playing as Thunder King Ryo. They just can't do their searches anymore, and now they're just sitting on a lot of dead combo pieces. And they might be able to put something together with that, but it's highly unlikely. So really good card. Out of these, this is probably the most important right now. That's subject to change in the future, but this is a really important card right now. I would try to make space for at least one of these in your main board. Try to get maybe 2 in. I'm right now maining one of these, and it's looking promising. So that's all for now. I'm probably going to do my next segment on, if I find something else to talk about in that Six Samurais, I'll talk about that. Or I will do a general side decking video of what I feel should be in your side deck no matter what right now. Oh, one other card to mention for Six Samurais off the top of my head is Puppet Plant. Good card against Six Samurais. I don't really like it in Blackwings, though. It's much better in decks that are in a high tuner count or have a lot of tributes, and Blackwings don't really have that. They technically play about 5 tuners, but, 1 or 2 of those are values, so you just can't really capitalize on it. Like, say in Plants, you have a ton of tuners, so you'll steal their Shien and then synchro with it. Or in the case of a Monarch deck, like or a Fish deck, you can steal their monster and synchro with it, or you can tribute it for a Monarch or the Koalacanth. Blackwings just don't have that ability. Oh, it's also really good in scraps. They have like 6, 7 tuners, I think. But Blackwings just don't have access to that many tuners that you'd want to do that with. Because like if you're gonna summon Blizzard, you're gonna take something back with it, and you're gonna want to synchro with that, or else they'll just run it over. Usually, there's cases where you can just leave it there. But generally, Puppet Plant isn't that good in Blackwings. There are better choices like Thunder King Ryo if you're gonna go for a monster. And as for Max C, it's kind of iffy against them still. It can be good, it can be bad. It's really up to you. I haven't tested it really, but it just seems kind of iffy against them, hit or miss, kind of risky. I probably wouldn't side it in against them if I had it. I'd probably use it against something more like Debris Plants, because they can't herp derp win, usually. And even if they make a big push, you just drew a whole bunch of cards, and you'll probably win off that advantage. I digress, though. Both of those cards I don't feel should be side decked against Six Samurais in Blackwings. Other decks, that's up to you, but those are my thoughts on those 2 cards also. That's all for now, though. If you guys have any suggestions for videos, let me know. Peace, YouTube.